Your heart isn't racing because of love, your stomach isn't full of butterflies, and your hands aren't shaking because you met the one. It's all happening somewhere else, inside your brain. An older, stranger organ just took over completely. This is what actually happens in your brain when you fall in love. And once you see it, you'll never call it just a feeling again. Because what's happening in your skull looks disturbingly familiar to scientists. It looks almost exactly like a brain on drugs. In the late 1990s, anthropologist Helen Fisher put people who described themselves as intensely in love inside an MRI scanner, then showed them a photo of the person they couldn't stop thinking about. What lit up floored her. A tiny structure called the ventral tegmental area, the VTA, exploded with activity. It's the exact same region that lights up when someone takes cocaine. Not a similar region. The literal same cells. Love, in its opening stage, is not a metaphorical drug. It's a real one. That reward center floods your brain with dopamine, the molecule behind craving and obsession, which is why new love feels less like happiness and more like hunger. You don't casually think about them, you compulsively think about them, uninvited, in meetings, showers, traffic lights. Scientists call this state Lyme rinse, and it gets stranger. Researcher Donatella Marazziti measured serotonin levels in people newly in love. It had dropped dramatically. And here's the detail that should unsettle you. The exact same low serotonin shows up in obsessive-compulsive disorder. Your brain treats a new crush almost like an intrusive thought, circling back again and again. That obsession you felt wasn't weakness. It was an ancient, involuntary program running, and it doesn't stop there. Researchers at Stanford found that looking at a photo of a new partner can numb physical pain almost as effectively as medication. Your reward circuit can override your own nerve signals, which is why heartbreak later hits so much deeper than sadness, because that same system has now switched off completely. Researcher Ethan Cross scanned the brains of people going through a breakup while showing them a photo of their ex. The regions that lit up weren't linked to sadness. They were the exact same regions that activate during real physical pain. A burn on skin and a broken heart, running through the same circuitry, which is why a breakup genuinely hurts. Your brain built a dependency around one specific source of dopamine, and losing it triggers actual withdrawal, cravings, intrusive thoughts, compulsive checking of their photos. But here's where the story takes its strangest turn. This obsessive, drug-like stage was never built to last. It's a launch sequence, not the destination. Behind the scenes, a different chemical system is quietly loading. Two hormones called oxytocin and vasopressin. To understand them, scientists looked at a meadow. Prairie voles form lifelong monogamous pairs. Meadow voles, nearly identical genetically, never bond at all. Researcher Thomas Insel found prairie voles simply had far more oxytocin and vasopressin receptors. Block those receptors, and lifelong bonding disappears. Add them to promiscuous meadow voles, and they suddenly start forming loyal pairs too. A tiny chemical switch rewrote an entire species' capacity for loyalty. Humans run a similar system. Oxytocin floods your brain during touch and closeness. Vasopressin rises during long bonding, tied to protectiveness. Together they build what dopamine alone never could: stability. The obsession fades, the craving softens, and something steadier grows in its place. Not because the feeling weakens, but because the chemistry itself changes shape. Love actually runs on three overlapping systems: lust, driven by testosterone and estrogen; attraction, driven by dopamine and low serotonin, narrowing your focus onto one person; and attachment, driven by oxytocin and vasopressin, built for raising a life together. 3 systems, evolved at different points, running at once in one brain. Which is why heartbreak feels like withdrawal, while a long partnership feels like home. Why falling in love is the right word. Nobody calmly steps into this. You fall. Because for a while, an ancient, involuntary program is doing the driving, not you. So the next time your heart races before you've even decided you like someone, that wasn't your heart deciding anything. It was never a choice to begin with. It was millions of years of evolution, quietly making sure you never face this alone.